Welcome to the Ohio State University Spring Commencement, held Sunday, May 4th, 2014 at Ohio Stadium. 10,200 graduates received their diplomas. The spring commencement speaker is Chris Matthews, host of Hardball on MSNBC.
Welcome, one and all, to the 406th commencement of The Ohio State University. We're pleased to have you as our honored guests as this university bestows academic degrees upon today's graduates. Ladies and gentlemen, you see here today in these graduates, in their faculty, and in our staff, the reason The Ohio State University is such a remarkable institution. Our tremendous breadth and depth across disciplines and areas of study are reflected in the many degrees that will be awarded today. In this ceremony, we welcome families from hometowns around our state, from Akron to Zanesville, while others have traveled much further from both coasts and across oceans and time zones. We sometimes say that Ohio State is a microcosm of the world. It's remarkable and humbling to see the world represented every day across this campus. The many cultures, ethnicities, talents, and dreams. It's truly a sight to behold. And no matter where or when our students begin their journey, they are now part of the Ohio State family. So graduates, wherever you go and whatever you do, Ohio State is a part of you. The seasons pass and the years will roll, sometimes faster than we even desire. But time and change will surely show how firm thy friendship, Ohio. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I have the distinct honor of introducing our commencement speaker. Now, most of you know Mr. Matthews as a news anchor on MSNBC, where he hosts Hardball, a talk show that's focused on the hot topics of the day. However, his story began years ago, when he was a young boy growing up in Philadelphia and harboring a strong fascination with politics. In the early 1950s, Mr. Matthews doggedly followed the first Eisenhower presidential campaign, and later became enthralled with the historic rivalry between John F. Kennedy and Richard Nixon, all indicators of his future involvement in the political world. Almost 2 decades later, after graduating from Holy Cross in Massachusetts, Mr. Matthews sought a dash of adventure and the chance to make the world a better place. He served 2 years as a trade development advisor in the U.S. Peace Corps in the South African country of Swaziland. Returning to the United States in the 1970s, Mr. Matthews landed next in Washington, D.C., where he first walked the beat as a U.S. Capitol Police officer before becoming a staffer in the U.S. Senate and eventually joining the Carter administration as a presidential speechwriter. His next stop would be one of the most interesting and perhaps challenging experiences of his life, working for 6 years as the top political aide to legendary Speaker of the House, Tip O'Neill. In that role, Mr. Matthews had a front row seat for the across-the-aisle consensus building that occurred during that era between Republican President Ronald Reagan and O'Neill, an old-school Democrat from Massachusetts. Mr. Matthews left the political world to enter journalism in 1987, serving some 13 years as the Washington, D.C. bureau chief for the San Francisco Examiner. That was followed by a stint as a nationally syndicated columnist for the San Francisco Chronicle. During his days as a newspaper reporter, Mr. Matthews was on the scene for some of the most important historic events of the 20th century, including the fall of the Berlin Wall and the first all-races election ever held on South African soil. His career as a broadcaster began in 1994, and Hardball launched in 1997. Since then, Mr. Matthews has become an accomplished broadcast journalist, receiving the David Brinkley Award for Excellence in Broadcast Journalism and the Gold Medal Award for Distinguished Achievement from the Pennsylvania Society. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Chris Matthews.
OH! Let's hear it for the terrific turnout today for Ohio State. President Joe Aludo, members of the board, distinguished faculty members, my fellow honorees, Dr. Barry Bloom, Jay Gerlach, Dr. Max Stewart, parents, grandparents, and friends of the graduating class of 2014. It's an honor of a lifetime for me to stand here in historic Ohio Stadium. It's also a bit scary looking at this crowd tonight. So again, help me one letter at a time. OH! And let's hear it for those who came here today, the graduates, from the graduates. Everyone in America looks up to this great university. Your distinguished faculty in so many fields, your success on this historic field, all those game days and triumphs which echo here and always will. Beginning today, right now, Ohio State will count you, the graduates before me, as 10,200 triumphs to mark this school's history. Let me hear from all of you for the graduating class of the Ohio State University class of 2014. What a tradition you graduates now join. I can remember way back in high school, in the early 1960s, rooting for you guys. You were actually the topic of a sophomore year debating point. Resolved that Jerry Lucas and Ohio State will win the NCAA basketball championship. You graduates have fresher memories, of course, out there of the Saturdays out here in the Horseshoe, including those wonderful days when you beat the hell out of that school up north. And how about that Saturday when the Ohio State Marching Band did the moonwalk? Let's hear it for the best damn band in the land, the Ohio State Marching Band. And while we're at it, let's hear it for the women of Ohio State University for becoming the national champion rowing team. Many of you, of course, out there in the graduating class have your own special memories of these last 4 years. And though you may be saying goodbye for now, for a little while to Columbus, not to those memories. I'm here today to speak, of course, about the future you're facing. And don't worry, as the great King Henry VIII of England told each of his half-dozen wives, 2 of which he had beheaded, I won't keep you long. I'm here today to talk about a political cause that unites all of us here today, the future of you graduates we've come to honor, and how you can get off to the best possible start in life, that you can make the right decisions, the right moves, find the best ways to show, and put to use what you've got. And thanks to Ohio State University and thanks to your efforts here, you've got a lot to show. I've spent the last 4 decades, as your president pointed out, covering and watching ambitious people in this country, the good, the bad, and whatever. I've seen success at a personal level. I've seen the smart habits successful leaders develop, how they teach themselves how to get ahead with other people. And so I've come here today with some powerful clues about this business of getting ahead. The first is so simple. It's what you 60,000 people did here today. You showed up. Graduates, all your life, practically every day of your life, you will have to make a simple decision. Do I go to this thing or don't I? Do I get dressed, go to the trouble, maybe risk getting out of my comfort zone, or do I go the other route, avoid the hassle, skip the thing? The tens of thousands of people here today made that choice. Look out at that crowd, graduates, and think about why they did it, why they went to the trouble of getting here today. And just imagine all the regard out there in those stands for you. Consider, if you can, the respect and, yes, the love that's in the hearts and faces of everyone here in the Horseshoe. And think about what message they're sending to you. They showed up. Think it doesn't matter? Really? Think the time you showed up here doesn't matter? They didn't make a statement, a simple but powerful statement, sometimes long remembered. Was there a better way for these people to show that they care about you, about what you've achieved in 4 years, than being here today rooting and celebrating you? Aren't you glad your relatives and friends are here cheering and rooting for you today? Aren't you? Think it doesn't matter that the student body of this university is known worldwide for being out here on Saturdays when the name of Ohio State is once again on the line. And this is the first advice I bring to you today, because it can be a make or break thing in life. This basic unspoken statement you make by the simple act of showing up. When you get invited to a classmate's wedding a few months from now, a few years from now, do you go to the trouble? Do you find a way to get there? Or do you check off that little card that says regret? Think about it, what it's like getting one of those regret cards from someone you invited with you, someone you wanted to share with you the big day. You'll be having your class's first reunion before you know it, a few years from now. And some of you will be not up for it. You may not feel you have anything to brag about yet. I say you're crazy not to go. First of all, and this is good news, life is not like school. Life isn't all SAT scores. And while we all learn that the top-seeded teams don't always win, the good news is that the top-seeded graduates from here are not the only ones who are going to win the personal victories in life. You'll discover that the best thing about a reunion, the truly memorable part, is real friends catching up with real friends. And just maybe, if you're lucky, you'll connect in a reunion with someone you had your eyes on here for 4 years, but never had the guts to make a move. No reaction. Oh, well. Things have changed. First reunions are the great second chance saloon. Maybe the drinking and excitement helps, you think? You may be wondering, what's this doing in a graduation speech? Where's this pep talk headed? Well, let me lay it to you on the line. It's all about life. I want you to build a muscle memory for those times when you have to choose between going to something, getting suited up, or skipping it. It may be an invitation from your mom to come home for the weekend. I wish my mom and dad were still around to invite me. It may be an old friend you've been thinking about. Do I get in touch? Do I show up in his life? Or do I wait for the call from him or her? And yes, it's about going out and getting a job. Do you go and try to get an interview? Or do you dash off an email, attach your resume, and decide you've got things under control? What do you think is the smart move? Again, it's like that eloquent statement being made by the tens of thousands of people here today. They showed up. Again, put yourself in the other person's shoes, the employer looking for someone to hire. What do you think? Is the boss likely to go for the person they actually meet, or the name they scroll past in their email? Get that in your brain, and when you decide to send off that email and say you've done your best, you haven't. It's a hardball world out there you're walking into, and you've got to start thinking hardball. Nobody's coming to your door, I hate to tell you, knocking on the door, inquiring what you were like as a person, checking out what you've got to offer, what dreams you have when you lay your head on the pillow at night. Nobody's coming. If you want the girl or the guy or the job, you've got to go out there and make your move. To win the contest, you've got to get yourself on the field. Exhibit A, Ronald Reagan, the 40th president. He started out like you guys and women after college In his case, as a sportscaster for an IO radio station. He did the play-by-play for the Chicago Cubs. But he had another ambition. He wanted to be a movie star. So he went out to California to cover the Cubs in spring training at Catalina Island, but always with that second ambition in mind. He did it 1 year, nothing happened. He went out a second season and managed to bump into a woman he knew from back home. He asked her to dinner. She set up a meeting with her agent. The next day, he got a producer to give him a screen test. The rest is history. If young Ronald Reagan had not shown up in LA, I wouldn't be talking about him at Ohio State. Ronald Reagan kept showing up. It's such an important message here. When his movie career began to fade after World War II, and he faced the added humiliation of having his wife leave him, what did he do? He went right on and took every audition he could, even in the new medium of television. Because he kept showing up, he got the break of a lifetime as the primetime host of General Electric Theater, and I watched him and everybody else watched him through the 1950s every Sunday night at 9, and millions got to like him a lot personally, a lot more than would have liked him if he had stayed in the movies. As I said, Reagan kept coming up. He kept showing up. When he lost his race for the presidency in 1976 to that Michigan guy, Gerald Ford, he walked out into the National Convention stage and gave the speech of his life. 4 years later, he was president of the United States. He showed up. Bill Clinton, at the age of 34, he got beaten for re-election as governor of Arkansas. Everyone figured he was through except Bill. The people had gotten a look at him, that rejected him, that dumped him from office. How many governors get dumped from office and ever get the job back? I can't think of one except this one. The next day, Bill Clinton was out there campaigning, showing himself to the people, saying he got their message. He ended up getting reelected governor of Arkansas 4 times. Again, the rest is history. These guys are hardly perfect, but they do have a lesson to teach. Faced with the choice of slinking off, sometimes after taking a huge personal hit, they showed up. You may have to face this choice in life again and again. Show up or don't show up. Face the music or skip it and avoid the hassle. I showed up in Washington 43 years ago after getting back from 2 years in the Peace Corps in Africa. I just wanted to be a speechwriter for a senator, then maybe for a president. That was my dream. The problem was I didn't know anybody. I was what you call in Washington a nobody. I knew nobody. And after knocking on 200 doors of congressmen and senators, I finally got a job that opened the door for me. As the president said, I took a job moonlighting on the Capitol Police because it came with a daytime job working in a senator's office, and it got me in the door. Why? Because nobody was going to call inviting me to come to Washington. And I can assure you, if there was such a thing back then, I don't think an email would have done the trick. No, I had to show up personally with all the excitement of my ambition and my case. As I said, I got to do it on the 200th door I knocked on. You know, there's an expression in broadcasting, you probably hear it from the old pros. It's called mailing it in. It's when you don't really bring yourself to the job. People who mail it in tend to lose something when they do, their work address. Another example. I went to dinner in Washington 36 years ago this spring. It was one of those annual black tie dinners the media have every year in Washington. They had one last night. The year was 1978. If I hadn't gone, I would never have met my queen, Kathleen. I think more than occasionally about how things would have gone for me if I had decided to skip that event and missed Kathleen. They would not have gone well, I'm afraid. It's about being there when the lightning strikes. You never know when it's going to happen. Years ago, I had dinner with a guy out in Beverly Hills. Afterwards, he invited me to join him for drinks with another guy. That other guy and I hit it off. It was the early 90s. A few years later, he was the one who got me started hosting a national TV show. I've been on every night since. Today, I'm at MSNBC. He's Roger Ailes, the president of Fox News. And yes, we're still friends. So I'm a big believer in showing up. You dream of meeting the right person to spend your life with. A job opens up or some other opportunity. You want to be there when it does, not sitting at home waiting for a phone call. When lightning strikes, you want to be there, right there in the room, you. Small point. People tend to give pretty short notice these days when they leave a job, maybe just 2 weeks. You want to be there when the boss looks around for someone to fill the job. 2 weeks, that window's open. The more places you show yourself, the more windows will open for you, the better your chances. And now for the follow-up. It's just as simple. Ask. Ask. Anyone in business out there knows that every salesperson needs to ask for the order, just like you have to ask for the date. When you ask, you have to ask for the job, not the interview, the job. I think about the President of the United States and how he got to be where he is today. Here's a guy, you don't hear much about this, who lost his race for Congress not too many years ago, in 2000. He lost badly. He got himself crushed by a guy who still holds that South Side Chicago congressional seat today. No, you don't hear much about that. Why? Because of what the man who is now our president did after he took that beating. He got in his car with nothing but a map sitting next to him on the passenger seat, no GPS, and drove out into parts of Illinois where nobody ever voted for someone like him. Certainly nobody named Barack Obama. And he got himself elected U.S. Senator. The lesson? Not everybody's going to say yes to you. Just don't ever say no to yourself, ever. Some people are going to like you in life, and some are not. And when I was knocking on all those 200 doors in the U.S. Congress, looking to get a job, looking to have somebody open the door, I had one guy, he was from Texas, he told me to my face he didn't like my hairstyle, too long. He didn't like, quote, my way of speaking, too fast. He said the people of his district might also think I'd brought some ideals back from the Peace Corps with me. I got the message. But then he gave me the advice of the century. He said politics and really life is a lot like selling life insurance door to door, which is what he did for a living before he was elected to the Congress. He said you go to 100 houses and you get 9 people to invite you back to make a pitch, maybe when the husbands come home. Of those 9 out of 100, 3 of them will normally buy a policy, which is enough to make a decent living with. He told me to keep looking, that someone would like me out there, even if he didn't figure I was right for him. So bottom line, life and career is a matter of numbers. Some people are going to like you, some aren't. Again, it's like dating. The important little secret of human politics is that the man or woman who does give you your chance will back you up later. Hey, I gave that guy his first job. I've seen it time and time again. You see, when somebody gives you a job, they're making an investment in you, a bet on you. People tend to double down on that kind of bet. And this is precisely the way you have to look at it, graduates, that what many of you are facing right now. When you ask someone for a job, you're not out there begging with a tin cup. You're taking on an investor in you. It's like when you applied here to Ohio State. You asked them to invest in you, and it paid off. Here you are getting your diplomas. And so my wisdom today comes down to this. Show up, don't mail it in. Do everything you can to get in the door. Show up for your friends. Don't wait for a classmate to call you. You be the one to call up and keep the friendship going. When you see an opportunity, ask for it. Never say, ever say no to yourself. And hang on to your values. Honesty, loyalty, duty, basic goodness. I hope what I've said here today briefly helps in your life, especially the next couple of months, and they're going to be tough for some of you. But President Theodore Roosevelt, who's up there on Mount Rushmore with Washington, Jefferson, and Lincoln, said something at a graduation much like this more than a century ago. He said that politicians, and I think he meant everybody, fall into 2 categories. Those who mean well but can't do anything, and those who are totally competent but don't mean well at all. My hope is today that I can help the good people graduating today, you folks out there, to catch up to the people who are forever cutting corners. And even, if I can, level the playing field a bit. And let me end with this. I already gave you the bad news that nobody's coming to give you something. Nobody's coming knocking on your door asking what your dreams are. The good news, you're coming. You're coming. You're going to be going at this getting a job, getting a career started with all the excitement and hope. Yes, the kind of butterflies all great competitors get before the big contest. And with the gung-ho spirit that made this country, that is this country, and as a political guy, an expert, there's no place in America more America than Ohio. Thank you for the lifetime honor, all of you, for the honor of having me share this day with you. Go Bucks!